My name is James Barnum. I'm an inventor and a very keen mountain biker. I've been trying to set up some Ghetto Tubeless tyres on a non-tubeless rim for some time and have had quite a lot of difficulties. But I found an interesting way which hasn't been publicised anywhere else, so I thought I'd share it with you. The problem is a lot of loose tyres or rim and tyre combos can be really difficult if you're setting them up as a Ghetto setup. But I found quite an interesting arrangement which I'm going to share with you. You're going to need a trap pump, a Ghetto Tubeless inflator made of some sort of a fizzy bottle, fizzy drinks bottle. There's lots of other videos on YouTube about those. You're going to need some gaffer tape, some gorilla tape, your sealant, some wipes, white spirit, and your tubeless valve. For this particular setup, I've already put two rolls of, or two layers of gorilla tape right the way around the rim, starting a little bit further on from the valve itself. So it's actually overlapped itself and gone all the way around again. I've then simply punctured this with the valve to push it through. For this arrangement, I've fitted an inner tube inside here, inside this tyre and rim arrangement. And what that does is, when it's inflated, it presses down the gorilla tape very, very firmly, so it makes for a very, very decent adhesive seal, if you like, around that rim for a few days. Wipe down your rim with white spirit all the way around the outside. So, if you rub down the tube and the tyre with white spirit, the tyre and the rim rather, that will take off any excess oils which the gaffer tape isn't going to want to adhere to very well. So simply wipe that down all the way around. Don't go overboard, you just need to wipe it so that it's quite firm. You can see there's quite a lot of oils which have come out of the tyre. You don't want to go overboard because they are actually important. Wipe down your rim, give that a few minutes to dry. The reason we do that is because we're now going to use some gaffer tape to hold that side of the rim in place. Now the way that I'm going to do this, as I start, I'm leaving enough space on the rim to be able to adhere this, but really concentrating on the outside edge of the gaffer tape to start with, and then folding it to go into the centre. So following the outside edge first. As we go around, it's obviously going to bunch up a little bit, but if we concentrate on the outside edge of the tyre, that's really what we want to see. You can see that as I fold this in, it bunches up a little bit, of course, but that's perfectly okay. We can push that firmly onto the rim all the way around. And what that's going to do is it's going to hold the tyre to one side of the rim when we remove the inner tube. Don't pull it too tight, otherwise it might just want to peel off the tyre. Another little note is that this may pull off the stickers on your rim, so do keep an eye out for, you might want to maybe mask them over if you want to keep those. I'm not especially bothered with this wheel. A little bit of overlap at the end there. And then tear it off. You tear that off there, push it really, what you want to do is push this foam all the way around, and that's actually going to create a considerable amount of seal on one side of your tyre. Which is exactly the problem that we have when trying to inflate a loose tyre with sealant. Right, now at this stage I'm going to take the inner tube out, but only from one side of the rim. Now you can see I've still got the tape on the other side, holding it on. I'm going to pull this off. remove the old inner tube. As I say, I've already gone around the inside of this this rim with the Gorilla Tape. You have to use Gorilla Tape in my opinion. It's the best stuff for this, it would seem. I've gone around twice, so that's covered all of the spoke nipples where air could escape. So now I've managed to take the tyre right the way off. I've got no inner tube in there at all. I can now insert the tubeless valve. It's useful to have one which you can remove the core. So that's what I'm doing in this case, taking the little, press the core out, pop the valve through and secure it with the retaining nut. I'm just going to put the tyre on, except for a little bit at the bottom, where I'm going to insert the sealant in a short while. In fact, for this instance, I'm going to put the tyre all the way on right now. We'll put the sealant through the valve core, I think. So now I've got to that stage, I'm now going to use some more gaffer tape and tape up the other side of the tyre. Doesn't matter if it's reasonably loose fit, that's not a problem at this stage. This is going to help the tyre seat and also help with retaining some of the sealant as we do the job. Because the sealant otherwise would want to just splash out all over the place. What I've done to insert the sealant is actually use a funnel and a small nozzle from a mastic gun, which seems to work quite well going into that valve tip. I've got a small amount of rubber tubing here, which if I push it onto the end of this fitting here, it will also go onto that valve quite easily too, and that will allow me to put the sealant into the tyre quite effectively. I like to use the Stan's sealant, and in this case I'm going to use around about 3 cups. I prefer to use an extra amount just in case we get much wastage, which we might get. 1, 2, oops, that's clever. 3. Tiny bit more in just to top up what we lost there. That'll do me, no problem. So at this stage I tend to put the valve at the top there. As I say, you can find out more information on these sort of ghetto inflators on the internet. There's lots of information about them. I'm going to put this to about 50 psi. Shake the tyre around and be sure that sealant's going to go everywhere I need it to go. Keep pumping. I've now got a sealed tyre. Now to put that little valve back in again, I can just pull this off, finger on the valve, pop the valve back in as quick as I can. Inflate it quickly, give that a good shake, and we're good to go. There we go. Right, at this stage it's all inflated. Nip up the valve tip, take off your original tape, clean off your tyre and rim. Although you're going to get a certain amount of leakage, that's where the gaffer tape has actually helped to retain some of the fluid. And then you can perhaps use a little bit of white spirit just to wipe up any excess. But you've got a correctly seated, quality tubeless setup on that rim. No problem. So there we have it. The whole setup seems to work really well. I've done this a few times. It seems to work every time for me. I hope this solves some of your problems if you've got a loose tyre and rim setup. I'm going to call this the gaffer tape technique. And perhaps some of you would find it useful. Let me know how you get on and leave a comment. Good luck.